Each car on the train is equipped with electrical cabinets. Under no circumstances should they be opened by anyone other than authorized train personnel. There are also emergency handbrake systems on each car. Again, these should not be touched or tampered with. For your safety as you walk between the cars, please be aware that there are sliding plates on the vestibule floors that will be shifting, so please be cautious. We do have restroom facilities on board, so please ask your nearest Polar Express staff member for directions. Parents, please accompany your children and keep up with your children. For everyone's safety, it's imperative that your children remain seated in the rail car in which they're currently seated. And please, no running or jumping in the aisles or on the stairways. This is a non-smoking, non-vaping, non-alcoholic train. Now, I'll be pointing out items on the east and west side of the train. To help you get your bearings, the east side is the side you boarded from. Photos or videos of passengers on the Polar Express may be taken at any time and may be used for promotional purposes. We are very pleased that you're riding on the Polar Express this evening. Enjoy the experience as the children take their ride on the Polar Express.
Here we go.
In the middle?
Yeah. This is so cool. We are on a train.
They ring the bell.
We are on a moving train.
Here we go.
Check out that boxcar. And we are on the Branson Scenic Railway. This is so cool. Hey, we're just getting started. See the front of the train. Trying to keep people out of the frame. There's a switch.
She'll end up
Alright, so I'll be back to the rest of your tickets later.
Thank you for obeying the boom gates.
May I have your attention? We are going to read the story of The Polar Express by Chris Van Allsburg. Are you ready to follow along?
Oh, you gave them
Okay, let's read.
What's that?
On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear, the ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear sounds, though not of ringing bells. From outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. "All aboard," the conductor cried out. I ran up to him. "Well," he asked, "are you coming?" Where? I asked. Why, to the North Pole, of course, was his answer. This is the Polar Express. I took his outstretched hand, and he pulled me aboard. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nougat centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Soon, there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forest where lean wolves roam and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole.
Ooh.
The North Pole. It was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first, we saw no elves.
Christmas tree.
They are gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas.
It's my cousin.
Who receives the first gift, we all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. Look, shouted one of the children, the elves. Outside, we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no farther, we stopped, and the conductor led us outside. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound, like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us, and pointing to me, said, let's have this fellow here. He jumped into his sleigh, the conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee, and he asked, now, what would you like for Christmas? I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine. But the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled.
This is oddly
Then
relaxing.
he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from a reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood holding the bell high above him and called out, the first gift of Christmas.
City Hall.
A clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeer's names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared in the cold, dark polar sky. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, The other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus's sleigh. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," one of the children said. But the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him.
I love
"What?" I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. "Merry Christmas," he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. "Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C." I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I'd shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me, as it does for all who truly believe.
You hear the bell?
Hey kids, it's a long way to the North Pole. I think we need some snacks. How about some cookies and hot chocolate?
Husband. Tyron's on honeymoon.
I'm loving it.
So am I.
All right, here's our hot chocolate cookies. All right, we'll be right back.
Oh yeah, it's a Polar Express.
It's up to you. If you want more, let me know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Here's to you.
Cheers to us.
Hey children, look on the west side of the train. The engineer says he sees Santa Claus. Wave!
It will be a minute past 4:morning. He announced at the very front of the train, and then works our way to us. I know a lot of people get real upset when they hear Santa, so. All right. Red? We are red with you? Yeah. What did you say? What green or red? Red? All right. Thank you.
I'm trying to cool it off.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Christmas cookies and hot chocolate. What?
Think it, think it.
Think it? Think that? That's a good cooker. I gotta Snapchat this.
Hey, buddy, do you want a green or red?
Yeah, that's a really good cookie.
What?
I said, yeah, that's a really good cookie.
A little bit what?
I said, yeah, that's a really good cookie.
Oh, poor Juno. Trying to get to the front seat. Welcome to historic Hollister. That's a beautiful mural. There's Santa. He's got his face shield.
You see him?
Oh, the house. beautiful way to spell Chinook. Chinook.
Brooks.
Oh, hey, they got Christmas lights turned on now. Pretty trees.
Stop. Stop.
He's got on, he's that big.
I love how you eat half a cookie and I'm here. Trying to enjoy it. So, Megan and them were trying to get home. Like the line workers had them stopped because of power lines in the road and them working on the power lines. And this rude dude came up to them and started cussing them out, saying he needed to get home. But apparently, this dude has also been has also been rummaging through people's lost belongings and stealing from them. And he has an entire house to go home to. I'm like, this dude could learn a lesson from Jonathan and I, you know? Are you okay? Losing everything and still being grateful.
Did you see somebody on Emily's post about me said that I was a wonderful human?
Huh?
Emily's post about me? Somebody commented and said that I was a wonderful human.
Wonderful, don't even begin to touch it.
I don't know what to say to that, honestly, though.
What?
I honestly don't know what to say to that, though.
Where's your purse?
I actually had to go so everybody could see Santa. And now I guess they're gonna pick him up.
Probably.
Don't worry your hot chocolate.
Yeah, no joke. It's a little warm.
Still a little bit.
Try it.
But I think the family said sometime next week
Yeah.
they're gonna take our clothes that they found to the laundromat. But everyone has a place to stay until everything gets figured out.
That's good.
Once we get this new house, it'll be our biggest purchase ever. Previously, my biggest purchase was Lucille. A bit toasty. Could use a smidgen more chocolate.
Well, I can't taste it till it's still hot, so.
Now we're cruising. I'm probably gonna end the video here. It's getting to where you can't see much. But I just wanted to get a bit of a Polar Express experience. Bye, babe.
Hi.
Say bye.
Oh, bye.